coffee and breakfast. Cool down pretty quick. But there. Alright, I drive over to my favorite little park. Are they paying attention? Not even close. There you go. Sometimes it's just the goofy people, but luckily someone paid attention at the last minute and then looked both ways before driving. If you're driving, try to look both ways, eh? I'll give you a few updates on stuff once I get there. I am absolutely starving. I had some coffee already. Oh, some neat cloud structures. I don't know if we'll get pictures of those, but we'll see if we can get over that before the cloud structures go away. I've heard that there have been some pretty wild cloud structures lately. Some that I've never seen, some that have never been seen before. I've heard that there's been some changes to weather patterns. I keep wanting to blame it on a lot of stuff, you know. There's so much out there that's showing where the problem really is. One of them is just space. There actually is. Space is not a complete and empty vacuum. It's very dispersed, but it's not empty. Because, well, proof of point, we're in it. So there, not completely empty. That being said, there actually is temperature in space on those items that are out there. So, saw a neat little report a bunch of years ago from NASA that our galaxy is going through a warmer zone of space. Now, it's not like the difference of, you know, winter and summer warm, but you do get temperature variations, and that will affect the planet. I mean, that only makes sense. How much? Well, are all the planets affected? Well, there's a lot of effect. How much? Again, it's like saying, you know, okay, I dropped a needle in a haystack. Where's the needle in the haystack going to end up? How many factors are there? Wind, gravity, how much material went through? I mean, is it affected? Yes. Am I saying that we don't have any effect on the planet? No, of course we do. But is it the main driver? I seriously doubt it. I don't think they measure far enough. I mean, to say that we are the only ones making effect presumes that they know the entire history of the planet and its temperature cycles. Like anything else, it goes through its cycle. Humans do, planets do, and so does the sun. The sun's going into its solar maximum. So it's warming up. Solar minimum and solar maximum, the number of, you can basically measure by the number of solar flares. So the more solar flares, it's going through a more active period. When the, obviously, conversely, the least number of solar flares, the least active it goes. I mean, that kind of gives them. But if the sun is more active, you know what we're going to get? More heat. So, they never mention those things because it ruins their narrative. I don't like the idea that we're the sole responsibilities and you must pay money to fix it. Okay, so what's been fixed? So, all I see is just money going out, and it's always going to companies. Even recently, the Canadian government and their carbon tax. I had some guy who's saying, we get the money back. I think, well, how much sense does that make? You don't get it all back. That would be impossible. It's literally illogical. To put money through, come back out, that doesn't make any sense. Because then what's the point of even doing it? It's just moving through. Okay, my normal spot. Possibly, no, I'll be fine. I was thinking about where I'm going to my normal spot here. It's a little brisk out, it's also single digits. Yes, that's a parking brake because this is a manual. And you should be using your parking brake even if it's not. And get into the technical details of why you need to. even for automatics. But to sum up briefly, your transmission has this tiny little gear that stops, and it's just one small piece that's holding 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 pounds, but you're resting the entire vehicle on that small gear. One little bump and you've got some, pretty notable damage to your transmission. Plus, when you go to buy a vehicle, well, I don't know of any in the States that don't do safety. I don't know how that works down there. But up here, your parking brake is part of your safety. So if it's not working, then you have to pay to get it fixed. But if most people aren't using it, 5, 7, 10 years down the road, it's not going to work. It's going to be rusted, so you have to pay to get it fixed. And you just pull it up on this one as a pull-up. Most are, you push down. It's not like it's hard. But nowadays, vehicles have electric and they're automatically applied. You can actually hear them whenever the car stops because it's all as the thing is applied. So bacon egg McMuffin from Tim Hortons. That's breakfast this morning. Forgot to add the ketchup. Put on my fruit sauce. Add a flavor. Most of this stuff is just kind of plain. And well, plain is boring. It's like because there's no effort in that. Alright, there we go. Yeah. A friend of mine makes some of the best hot sauce I've ever had. Now, I'm not some hot sauce mega connoisseur. As a matter of fact, I don't like things hot for the sake of being hot. That's wasteful. But when it's got flavor to it, that's important. That's what makes all the difference. Anyone can be hot. Anyone can throw chili peppers or go and buy the cheapy Frank hot sauce. That's pointless. But for if you're adding something to that, I think you might as well add it properly. And I think just making it, hot it's just boring. Quality over quantity, for sure. Years before he replaces it. It's a 2010. Years before he replaces it. It's a 2010, so it's 14 years old. 2010 Dodge Dakota 4x4. It's been beat up, but he never did proper maintenance, oil changes, and like, well, you need to do more than just oil changes. There's a lot of stuff going on with this vehicle, especially a 4x4 with heavy duty equipment. But you think cheaping out really works for you? Good luck with that. Now I thought it cost him $4,000 when the rear end busted and had to be replaced. And while I was down, I had to rent a vehicle. Or for simply just not replacing the fluid in the rear end. Getting the bearings checked to make sure and re-greased. You spend an extra couple $100, even a year. Like even if normal maintenance, it would have cost you say $200 a year. After 10 years, that's $2,000. No, that's $2,000. He spent $4 to fix a problem that could have been avoided. It doesn't, far enough ahead. If it's not running, it's not important, which doesn't make sense, and you just end up losing cost you money in the long run. Not everybody can. I'm not saying buy the best stuff all the time, but it is better to change your oil more frequently using the cheapest oil than not just skipping an oil change. So if you're buying a vehicle, plan for the maintenance. Just plan for shit, people. That's all you really need to do. Now, is that going to be perfect and fix all your problems? No. Shit just happens. But some people just never do it, and they never learn. Somehow, the last time I had it was last week, I had a chicken bacon ranch wrap. And then a couple of days ago, a couple of days after that, I get into the vehicle, see a piece of bacon lying down. I was like, where's the bacon go from? Didn't even realize that it went up and fell down. I don't usually look down in that area. So wacky just to see a piece of, all dried bacon. I think Tim Hortons cooks their bacon a little too early. They'll sit around. Not only is it a little hard, it's a little overcooked. But some bacon is better than no bacon. It's chilly over there. What up to now? What's it saying now? 8:06 when I looked earlier. Do I still want to open up the back and sit there? I should just try with the windows down for a while, and if that sucks, oh, that's gonna answer it. But alright, here we got some people. Sorry, just seeing stuff. Hey, Joe Sports, thanks for the subscription. I appreciate that, dude. That'll be all fun. What state am I in? None. Pardon me, the 51st state of Canada. So there you go. So yeah. Oh, my glasses lens? No, this is actually your reflection of something or other, because this is just nothing on it. Just regular glasses lens. Nothing else. These are just clip-ons. A second. The spring's a little strong, so I have to use it with one hand or two hands most of the time. So yeah, people want to say all kinds of stuff, whatever, Zach, dude. If it makes you happy, go say it. But I'm not the one who's going to get banned because, they're just making up stuff. But I'm in Hamilton, Ontario. Seattle is a place I'd like to visit sometime. And I think, was it Seattle? I think it was Seattle that has the underground city that was used a lot for a lot of when it got flooded and they built on top of that. Wasn't it Seattle that did that? Because I just saw that recently, and that was kind of like a wild thing to go and visit. My cup holder handing. Now my brother's asking, is that a ball joint? Oh man. Thank you there, Warm Fridge. And your name is a contradiction. Nice. Yeah. But yeah, the beard I started that. Geez, how long has it? But yeah, the beard I started that. Geez, how long has it been now? 3 years? 4 years? Decided to say, you know what, I'm gonna try the No Shave November. Let me try that for a month and see how it goes. And I kept going. Obviously, here I am today. So we're going to try and put down the window because it's some air through here. So that cross breeze going. I can get the tires in there. Been that way once. Huh. So apparently it's been torn for months. Yeah. This is what I mean. You go to a mechanic that's cheap to save you money. Okay? So you're saving money. But then because he's cheap, he doesn't look for other things to let you know, hey, this is going to fail soon. And then when it fails, you wonder why it costs you more if you simply just did the preventive maintenance. Yeah, whatever. So today is a bit of fun. So, I need to clean up support levels. How about you guys can see that? So these supports areas, they need to be, trimmed up. But I really don't want to do it inside of here, because it makes a bit of a mess. Now, that being said, it's not as bad inside of here that it is in a regular car, because I've got literally plastic flooring, like a rubberized plastic flooring on this. So simply just sweeping up it. Do I feel like sweeping up? Not really. It's cool out there. Well, you know what? I'll try it. Worst case scenario, I come back and sit here. Alright. Then we'll just move to the back and... Ooh. Because I changed some stuff around there. I don't necessarily have something to mount, set the phone on this hot. That'll be interesting. My coffee will cool off more back there, though. Pros and cons of trying to get shit done. Well, we'll see how it goes. Alright. A little bit of tour around the place, you can see it. So, this is my vehicle. Oh, it's like that's my Godzilla cup holder. They're awesome. I got another one over there. Those haven't seen, this is a 2003 Honda Element. It's a lot of fun. And I replaced the badge because it fell off. And I just 3D printed those replacement badges. Well, I wasn't sure what I was going to do with it, but I put it here anyways. Someone says, oh, put it in the center so you could, center it. It's like, yeah, but I don't mind that it's off center. It doesn't bother me as much. I don't need to be identical. So, but I might still do it next year. I might move them. I'll leave them there for the winter time, just because. And then if for some reason I really feel like I move it to center the whole thing, it means I'll have to move this. I'll move this down there, put these up here. But for now, I'll just let the see how the stuff holds up over the winter time. It uses a 3M VHB tape. That stuff is, I don't think it's going anywhere. It's been on there for about a week now. That's my back. I have a tailgate. Tailgate is awesome. My storage. That is my hammock from South America. And someone gave that to me as a gift. I think we'll be good for using this area, as long as it's the wind is up. So that's the wind that kind of kills all the heat, right? I'm not sure where we're going to put the phone down. Yep, but we have options. There's a box of stuff. Oh yeah, just in case you were curious, the doors open up like a carriage. So you got this giant space to get into there, and the other doors they open the same way. The cool thing is these seats will fold flat, so you can literally lay on this. Like those seats fold flat too. Not only do they fold flat, they fold up to the side. So they hook up onto the handles up there, the little carabiner. That's all factory. And with a simple, this is a cover, and there's a lever in here. Pull the lever out, pull the seats up. So this whole area just becomes one giant storage. There's a massive amount of room in there. It's just a shame that Honda, marketed wrong. So, okay, so these seat covers, they're heated seat pads. I bought them and added it in. So I put them back in for the winter time. Then when it warms up next spring, I'll take them out again because, well, they're just gonna take up space. Kind of Mickey Mouse in there for now. Those are the ones there. The problem, these were cheap. I think going off of I don't think I got them off of Temu. I think I got them off of AliExpress. But the cable all comes up on both of them on this side. That's not very long. This one was long enough to go around, and originally I had it up here so it can go. It was able to get into it, but that one It's on that side, so I had to make the cable longer. So I opened it up, extended the wire, did some soldering. I've got, too long, but it's more than enough. If I have it too long, then it's got lots of room to play with. But this is still not my ideal setup. Eventually I'll maybe even wire these in more permanently. I don't know. That would be convenient, but then I'd get some nicer seat covers to go over this. So this is underneath, it's out of the way, it looks nicer. And I got seat covers with switches, but down the road, one step at a time. Alright. Pretty overcast day today. The sun over that way. I just need to know where I'm going to set up the. You know what? I can probably just set it up here. There we go. Hey, not bad. It's there. But I am going to do up my coat. I've got my heavy duty sweater on, and this coat's a little small for the sweater. But this will just help keep in some of the heat for now. All I need to do is throw up some pieces. So I'll check up there once in a while too for messages and whatnot. Might not get to them right away, just so you know. Maybe I will kill this so I can see this easier. We'll have to sand that surface, I think, to make that smoother. I have to sand all these surfaces, so I'll get my Dremel tool out for that one, I think. I will really grind this stuff off nicely. And for now, I'm just gonna trim it off. And all I'm really doing is just these little rough surfaces here, just trimming those off. Keep it pretty simple. Then once I get the other one, and glue the two surfaces together, because this one has male outlets, and I've designed it so that the other side has the female in the exact same spots. So they'll just glue together. And all I'm gonna do is hold together. There's no real pressure on the glue points per se because of the supports that are there. So unless I could find someone to do this for me, while my machines are out of options, out of service. It would be a better way to say it. And you know what? I'm fine with that. The whole point of a business is to grow it. If you try to do everything yourself, you literally will go insane. Actually, you know what? I hear that the mic is better on this, so maybe I'll just turn on my headset and use that mic, because it's closer to me, and if I move around, then you will. Let's see. I'll put these in, but not that I get any feedback from YouTube app. Anyways, I keep saying I wish there was a way that they would give feedback. So when I know someone left a comment, the flip side is if there's multiple people leaving comments all the time and even having conversations within themselves, that becomes a problem, because all you do is just ding, 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 or whatever the noise would be. That would be a problem. So you do some sort of comment rate limit so that you're not getting overwhelmed with just comments and notifications of comments. Or you can do maybe something Discord like, where you give people various levels of commentability. YouTube do not buy Discord, or Alphabet do not buy Discord. Just smoothing these up. Once I get the Dremel tool in there, they'll grind right down to real fast. This is just rough stuff. It gets me out of the house. I don't want to sit around the house all day long. Well, my house, apartment, take your pick. Because it could easily be done there. And as winter creeps in more and more, it's going to have to be done there, because, well, Cold weather sucks. Only so much you can do outside. But while I can still do stuff outside, I will do so. I'm not gonna be casually hanging out. Live streams will basically be inside the vehicle. I might do some stuff outside. I mean, go for a walk or something like that, right? But you know what? Sometimes you design something like this is half. There's another piece. So look, it's a mirror piece, and because when there was one piece, I can only print it one way. But then I looked at his thing, I realized, oh, because he didn't have to print it this way. You know, that looks like it's a better way to print it. And I just haven't put thought into it because I'm so in the mindset of printing this way, which is really kind of weird. But nice to have another perspective and realize, like, oh yeah, that makes some more sense. It still turned out so nice. Just do a little bit of cleanup because the wind is taking all the heat away, so it's gonna get chilly fairly fast. And I didn't bring a lighter because it's gonna have to, apply some heat to this. Get rid of all the little fine hairs. That's inevitable because it's melted plastic, so you get that kind of stuff. This is just a bit of light cleaning, prep work, if you will, for remelting. And some of this stuff didn't quite stick as well, but that's just the way it is. When you're dealing with commercial level prints, there's some qualities that you're just not going to really get. Again, they're not $50,000 printers where you get super high quality. Of course, that comes at a cost, and most of the people you start dealing with don't want to pay that cost. That's why they're dealing with you and not a big company. Even I have outsourced to bigger companies for work, just because, well, they got the nicer printers. It's not like I can afford a $50,000 printer sitting in my apartment. So, but those guys are paid more money anyways. They're more expensive jobs because they realize it's not going to be a cheap thing. Speaking of, I should do a little touch base with my contact at the hospital services. See how things are going. This is just going to be a quick clip because I will need to use a lighter to melt plastic because it is just plastic at the end of the day. It happens to be PETG plastic. Same stuff as water bottles. So totally recyclable, totally food safe. The problem with prints is that while they are technically food safe, the only problem is cleaning. Now, it's not that they can't be cleaned, it's that people will not do the cleaning required. So, because these print in layers, I don't know how well this is really going to come through on the camera. Not going to come through. I'll show the rough spots that are not going to be seen. But the rough spots, I'm not getting enough light on this. Hang on a second. Let's try this. So now you can see those are layer lines. Because it was printed like this, so it's printing in one layer as it goes up. Now, that's not really a problem, but the real problem happens is when if this is not cleaned properly after food, molds will start eventually growing on this smallest level on the inside. So if that's not cleaned up, obviously you're going to get sick from it, and that's where the problem really is. Not the material, not the print process, it's the cleaning process. So the maintenance hasn't been done properly. So these ones will get coated in a resin, a food grade resin, where it smooths out. Printing becomes easier. Cleaning becomes way easier. Then it's just like a regular dish at that point. So nothing too fancy. Just the maintenance. So, but if you're aware of it, you can, print up your own cups and use your own cups just fine, as long as you know that you have to clean it. Very, very good. Not like a regular cup where you just do a wipe or two and you see the dirt is gone, but it's a wipe or two is not enough to get rid of the small microscopic stuff. That's kind of the reason why they say you gotta wash your hand for 20 seconds, because scraping off the microscopic stuff, you have to wait for the soap chemical to kill it, and then that stuff gets wiped off, the dead ones. I'm just getting rid of the rust off this guy, right? Then I get the Dremel in there, and that'll grind this stuff right down, make it super, super smooth. I'm just getting the bulky stuff off, so less dremeling I have to do. Do a little bit of modifications to this because some of the prints, some of the areas are not perfect, and that's fine. It doesn't have to be. They're less important, but like you can see the circles, but the top of the circle, well, technically when it's printed at the bottom, and you should have added supports on there. So I will mention that to him to add supports to those areas to make that neater. But this is not a functional part of the print anyway, so it doesn't terribly matter. But now you're getting into, I want it looking good for my client, right? If it's not looking good, then big question air quality. Even if it's not totally a functional part of it, you still want it to look good no matter what. I make this, take off the bumpy bits. Now, those guys are, no need to be, I gotta be careful of that. There's one here that's loose that didn't attach perfectly. This one's a little deformed. These little pins are a little bit of a pain. I'll have to go back and when I do the other ones, I'll make the pins bigger. Yeah, I think I'll just make them bigger. Of course, the female versions can only be so big because there's only so much space here. So I'll make these guys bigger and the females bigger. It should be fine. Like they're mating surface equivalent. And smaller ones are less of a problem. But this is the first version. That's the way you do. You iterate, you print, you make, you design. Improvement, iterate, print, make. Then go back to improvement, design, all the fun stuff. Yeah. Well, we'll make them thicker, so then they're less finicky and less likely to do that. That's a problem. That's what this is all about. No other comments. Funny. You usually get a bunch of people who are on, they do a bunch of comment, and then they disappear because I'm not interactive with them. If I'm driving, I obviously cannot comment back. So not while I'm driving itself. If I stop and I see a comment, sure, I can respond. But when I'm doing this, I'm obviously not looking at comments, but I have more opportunity to look at comments. Unlike driving, you just gotta concentrate on the road. It will not compromise my safety or anyone else's around me safety for when I'm driving. That is what it is. Some people realize that, and you don't have to be okay with it. That's entirely your choice, obviously. Just be careful in trimming this stuff because I don't want to break these. I think not the total end of the world, but not the most ideal situation either. I get the feeling I might have to do a little bit of drilling on the other ones to put these in there. But as long as the two surfaces are mated together and the glue I use, it's a Gorilla Glue, it'll be fine. It'll do the job. Next versions will be better. Yeah, once the Dremel goes over this, it'll smooth it out a lot more. Hopefully not too smooth because Dremel tool can get away on you. Power tools be running. do your best to try to not make mistakes. You're just gonna make mistakes. It's par for the course. You can't not make mistakes. You're working with hand tools. It's not that straightforward. Now your control is a bit of an illusion at that point. Oh, you can do fine in quite a bit, but there's always going to be something that will screw you up. Oh, that looks. This one looks the best, but it's the least attached, which is kind of funny. I want to add a bit of heat to this. It'll melt some of this stuff together, so it forms a little better. Overall, this print turned out good. Totally usable. Oh, look, it came off. And I wasn't even pushing on it. Didn't hit it. It just kind of fell off. Yeah, that kind of sucks. And you save something that is really so incredibly small. I don't know how well. That's how small it is. It's so ridiculously small. Probably not going to be able to do anything with that, really. I'll keep it, but that's likely going to just be ignored. These aren't really meant for structural integrity, anyways. They're just meant for guiding, so that it lines up. And these big flat surfaces, I will smooth them out so that it's a little more flat. So you have a nice even mating surface between the two. But they do need some rough, so it gives more surface for the glue to hold on to. Because once they're together, then that's all we need. But this is one of those iterative design processes. All right, let's get rid of some of this plastic bits. And like I said, biodegradable, so I'm not hurting anything by any means. So any POA, it's actually made from corn. So this isn't POA, it's PETG. So that one's definitely biodegradable. This stuff, a little bit longer. Yeah, it's getting a little chilly. My hands are starting to get cold, so I'm gonna bring everything inside and sit up front. I love my tailgate. Okay, let's bring the coffee in first. Important stuff, right? Hang on. YouTube never likes it when you turn the camera sideways. Although, I don't know why. Shouldn't be that big of a deal. You know, when you're doing something artistic. Now it does the vehicles with the lock. I have to manually lock this one. Just checking out. Make sure everything's okay on top of the vehicle. Because even with SUVs, you don't get too many times you get to see the top so well. So, roof racks. I'm gonna be making some other ones, like a basket on there. That'll be next year's project. There we go. And yes, manual. Okay. I'm just wearing them just because it's just easier to carry that way. Oh, I don't really want to run the vehicle. Don't need to. Although I have an idea. Yeah. One of the things I need to fix on here is my AC. So, obviously, colder weather, less important, but still important. With your vehicle's AC system, a part of it is a section called the dryer. And the dryer does exactly what you hear it says. It dries out the air. So, as the heat is coming through onto your windshield to defrost it, the dry air is picking up the moisture that is built onto the foggy or frosty window. Now, without that part working, it's just air blowing and eventually warm air, which will clear it off, but it takes longer. So, last winter, it kind of sucked. It was a little harder to keep the fog down. I'd have the fans on max, and they would kind of barely do it if there's two of us in here while we're driving around somewhere doing whatever. So now I think it's just simply recharging my AC would be enough for this. Um, but I don't know, and there may be a leak in it because right now it doesn't. If the air blows, it's not cold. So that's because there's probably no refrigerant in it, and usually it's a sealed system, so unlikely for the refrigerator to necessarily be worn out. But who knows? It likely just kind of leaked out. But then you got to spend money on fixing that and how much you put into it. So I decided, you know what, I'm not going to worry about it. The summer was kind of rough at times. My place has a nice AC system, so I don't have to worry about inside at home. But vehicle, a little different. Luckily, it wasn't too humid in many times when it was summertime. So I decided, okay, I'm going to try another workaround, a temporary fix, just to see. I didn't bring the other piece, not important. So I found these, and I thought it might have been an interesting test. It's a heater plugged into 12 volts. Now there's another piece here that is a little base, and it mounts to, and I can just mount it on my dash and point it at the windshield. Now it's not like it's a heavy duty heater. I mean, it works. It's kind of interesting. Switch high. It's got a low, a 1 and 2 switch. One is simply just fan. The other one actually is heat. Uh, two because it has this. And so it looks like I got some sort of weird ray gun or scanner or something. That's my radar detector. Or maybe I could just sit outside the road and sit this out. It is. People will slow down. But they wouldn't like that, but that would be kind of childishly amusing, anyways. I did a quick little test. It warms up okay. I don't think this will hurt anything. It's supposed to be 200 watts. I wouldn't hold my breath on that actually being 200 watts, but I will actually test this out here just to see. Now, my vehicle, well, pretty much any vehicle, their 12-volt port is limited to about 100 watts. So, worst case scenario, if this does actually pull what it's supposedly rated at, I'll blow a fuse. I'm not going to catch anything on fire. I mean, that's why they're rated at 100 watts. Cause, this one 12-volt plug is ready. Oh, well, it's going to be one of the toughest 12-volt plugs I've ever seen. I'll run the vehicle because I'm certainly not going to leave this to a simple chance here. Turn everything else off. That's my exhaust is rattling. That needs to be replaced. And once the RPM's on, it's at a harmonic resonance in about 1500 RPM. But as that drops, that becomes less of a problem. So, fan mode. Hey, how's it going there? Too many goats? I got to pet a whole bunch of baby goats on the weekend, man. These little kids. But you don't want to say you're petting kids on YouTube because people get the wrong idea. But let's see. All right. Fan's running. No problems. Wire's not getting cold, but let's go to heat. Yeah, it's starting to warm up already. This isn't a very powerful fan. It's not a lot, but if it's just sitting, and this is just sitting on my dash, pointing at the windshield, it'd be just a little bit extra to help, clear it out. And because it's on a ball, it can rotate, move around. So I can point at mine and then move it to another spot if it becomes a problem. But obviously, driver's area first to warm up and defrost quicker. Yeah, just power related issues or it's affecting anything else in the car. So yeah, I might have to. Man, these are cheap things, you know. I thought this was like $10 or $11 off of Amazon. You can maybe get it cheaper for like 5, 6, or 7 if I ordered from like Alibaba or Temu or something like that. But cold winter is here. Frosty mornings are starting to be more and more. I mean, it hasn't gotten frosty yet here, but I didn't feel like waiting, 4 to 8 weeks. And at that point, it's just too late. You're there, but it's kind of pointless. You could have got it earlier for a couple of bucks or more. So, so yeah, hey, good to see you, Blair. How's it? How are things going? I might end up replacing this cord with something a little heavier duty. But this would be an interesting test. That cord got a little warm. Just things you need to be aware of when you're doing this kind of stuff. Don't just get something cheap and think, oh, this will work just fine. The To go along with the cheapness, the base needed a simple idea. Just kind of slides into here, and then there's a little ball socket, and then another part, and then it came with a big piece of foam, double-sided foam to put onto it. But the base, the base was not flat. I set it onto my dash, and just to see how and it was kind of curved up. It had this kind of weird curve to it. It's like so. Okay, it's like what? I wonder if I can just kind of straighten that plastic out a little. So I was going to separate the ball socket from the base, and as I pull on the ball socket, which has the part that slips into here, part of the wing broke. It's like, well, that was irritating. So I had to fix it. So I had to glue that. So that's glued, but now I've got just a couple of clamps, but just one clamp. So I got a long piece, a clamp on it, and to try to kind of stretch out the plastic a little bit longer back to a more flat spot. So we'll see if that works, and we'll see if this works. I actually need to order the. I thought I ordered the socket already. I'll have to order that separately. Not sure where I'm gonna plug this in yet. I mean, with the old vehicle, you pretty much put it anywhere you want. Now, it has one 12-volt socket, but I don't want to use the factory 12-volt socket. Actually, if I remember correctly. Oh man, this is the 120 watts max, and this is supposed to be up to 200. So, yeah, I mean, it probably work fine, I'm sure, but who the hell knows? I don't need to run the vehicle anymore. But we'll see. Running it separately so that I don't have to worry about any extra power circuits being possibly affected or damaged because this is pulling so much power, so much. But yeah, it says 200 watts. I really would like to be able to measure that out, see how much it actually does pull. That would be interesting. And yes, I 3D printed a cup holder for moment to go cups. Yeah, the shape of a Honda Element. Makes it easy and convenient, and especially some of these the idea when I came up with this, I thought, oh, that'd be handy. Then the guy who does work on my vehicle that I simply just cannot do. I don't have a lift. He's got a lift in his car, so nice and easy. He wanted one because the extra large Tim Hortons, the top barrack is really weak, and so you grab it and you would easily crush or squeeze, and the lid pops off, and then you get coffee over. This completely prevents that. Then I added this is actually version 2 because this piece right here is simply, let me get out of this. I don't have the other pieces. This piece goes into, I've got a receptacle, and I just slots it into it, and it sits. So now you got a cup holder in your vehicle as well as a holder for your cup. Puddle of cheese. Now there's a name. I like that name. That's cool. Friend of mine in England is a cheese fanatic, so yeah, she'd find that pretty amusing too. So yeah, just chilling out here. Did some work, did some clean up a 3D print. Nothing terribly exciting. It's just kind of casual stuff here. I'm in Ontario, Canada. We're getting some nice fall weather. Yeah, hey, thanks. I use some Viking Elder Futhark Viking runes on here. Hmm. I just realized one of them's upside down. Yeah, that's the one thing about these is once they're on, they're on. If it comes off, you can't get it back on. You have to use another tool to be able to thread it through, like threading a needle, because there's no way to shove thick hair into a small little thing. Yeah, this one's in the shape. This has got the this one symbol is the life energy. So it looks like a little lightning bolt, like an S, and so it could be upside down. It could be not. Doesn't matter. This one's in the shape of an R. So yeah, this one definitely upside down, man. That's funny. And I have to look at it. Well, when I look at it, it doesn't look upside down to me. Oh, I got just just a little bit. There's some airflow through here. So yeah. Oh, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. I'm trying to do more live streaming. There was a guy, like, because I drive a Honda Element, and there's a lot of people, and the Honda Element community is very interesting, very small, tight knit group, compared to something like Honda Civics. There's like millions of those out there. Honda never made more than uh, you know 325,000 of these total in the 9 years of production. Whereas that, I think they made that in probably the first 6 months of nearly any other vehicle in its first year. But um, there was a YouTuber. It was he lived in his Honda. He lives in his Honda Element. I don't live in mine. Um, Although there's a possibility I might do that for a couple of months. Another remoter possibility that I might do for a couple of years. That's something to. That's for future me to really deal with at that point. But all depends on if someone offers me a job in another province for it's a 2-year contract. But um, but anyway, so there was a lot of YouTubers out there I like watching, especially in the car life, camp, van life, take your pick. And one of them was a Honda Element. This guy named Herb, and but I kind of never really liked the style that much. I didn't quite get it, so it didn't quite vibe with me. Then one of the local groups says, "Hey, that guy is up here. Hang out. Do you want to come?" And yeah, sure. Guy lives in California, no man. He's up here. I'm gonna go visit. I'm gonna go hang out with him for the day. And he's a really cool dude. Um, Herb's Element. I got a sticker from him. And you got heck yeah, dude. Let's see. Do I have? I don't know if I have. Oh, and he's a pet dog, Hades. Yeah, I got some stickers from him. Hades is cool. He's a cool dude. And since meeting him, I'm now more interested in watching his stuff. Not all of it, but they're every now and then I'll pop in on his live streams. I'll chat with him, and he's a super nice guy. I'm glad to have met him. When he was up here for a couple of days, because he sleeps in his vehicle, so he parked on by my place. Just say, yeah, go ahead, use my shower. It's perfectly fine. Need to cook some food. I don't think he actually cooked any food. I think we ate out. But I don't mind hosting to whatever I can to help with him. He's a super nice guy. Big into anime and gamers. So if you're into that, go check out Herb's Element. Let me just see. I can't go to the YouTube app because I'm in the YouTube app. That's when you over geek yourself at that point. But I mean, it's like he's some huge anime nerd. He mentions it and whatnot, and some of his stickers or drawings or whatnot has obviously anime characters on it, which is just fine. But I think it's just Herb's Element. If you just look for it, you'll find him. Cool dude. He travels around a lot, and a nice guy. So I'm kind of hoping I can semi-return the favor because he doesn't have a place. So I'd like to go down and visit him, but because he's on the move, that will totally depend on, when the stars align and actually can do that. I'll renew my passport. My, you know what? Looking into the whole van life thing, it's looking more and more appealing. I mean, these days, even if I got $1 million, you used to think $1 million, you're a millionaire. Mm, it doesn't mean as much. When you're when a decent house, like a standalone detached home in my city, is $700,000. What are you gonna do with the rest of it? 250, $300,000 really doesn't last that long when you look at your city taxes and your heat and hydro and maintenance and weather upkeeps, and it's not enough to even to buy a house unless you have a full-time permanent job that's stable. So since I don't have a full-time permanent job that's stable, buying a house is totally useless to me. I mean, spending that kind of money would seem kind of ridiculous. Now, a buddy of mine up in Brantford, um, lives in these little townhouses, and it's kind of the not the highest class area, but some of the houses are going for those places are going for like 400 to 450,000. I'm going with $1 million, that would be doable because it's free and clear. $500,000 to do pretty much everything else. I mean, you're going to need to invest a good chunk of that just so you can have some regular income off of that. There's no getting around that. Not going to go buy a $200,000 supercar, even used, or like a $200,000 Corvette, C8 Corvette. That's as nice as those cars are. It's a total waste of money. So, especially living in an area like that when you don't have a garage to park it in. So, it wouldn't be worth it. I'd rather buy another Element and fit it out for off-road life or camping life. That would be better. I'd almost be happier just to kind of do that. Even if I got $1 million, to do that anyways. Like I don't need to have a house anymore, but I've got some really cheap rent where I am. So I've that would all things considered, that's the biggest thing I would have to give up is the cheapest rent in the city. So if I got $1 million, I'd still keep it. I'd still go around. Yeah, that's what's yours. Yeah. Well, I mean, price is not necessarily indicative of convenience for other people. At that point, you're paying that kind of money on that kind of car. Yeah, you don't care about anybody else. I mean, it's for you. It's an ego boost, and then that's it. And not that there's anything wrong with that. So, uh, trying to compare it to a minivan or bringing people around, that's less important. But a McLaren, would be kind of cool. You got those three-seater cars. You got one for the driver and then two passengers, but they're kind of literally secondary. Okay. And that's fine. And I'm less concerned about that. That's something. Uh, there's a guy on YouTube, Van City Van Lives. His name is Chrome. Super looking like cool dude. He's out in Vancouver, Van City, and it's so funny that I've been running into a little more and more YouTube van guys that are in Canada. Now, part of that would be the algorithm thing. You're in Canada, you're looking at van life guys. Why do we recommend this video? It just happens to be another Canadian van lifer. And so, in one sense, it's actually the algorithm is working for a good reason and with good results. Well, okay, I don't mind that much. It's not that creepy. Um, but he lives in his van full time, and he has his pit bull. His pit bull's name is Cruz. Uh, left it out dog, and he's in Vancouver now. He has a shop. It's a nice shop that he's just all kitting out right now with all kinds of stuff. Um, Of course, he makes his own merch, like shirts and t-shirts and hoodies and whatnot. But he does van conversions, and he sells equipment, batteries and kitchen setups and what have you. And so, I mean, it's not cheap stuff. And but he could easily. I mean, he's got a big TV and almost like theater seats set up there. So he could have easily set up his own little apartment there. Whether it would be legally allowed or whatnot, probably could. But Travel Chalky's World, he's a fan YouTuber from England. I don't. think I've heard of him. There was one guy I did see recently, but this guy out in Vancouver, I mean, he just goes and drives, parks, wherever. He's learned some stuff. I learned some tips from him about parking in residential area when you have to. He goes camping, a little more off road, some of the backwoods. In his van, he's got converted and it's lifted. He's got a 4x4 conversion done on it. Because he does that kind of stuff too. So, having the money and having a business, that would be cool. That I think that would be convenient because you have the freedom. So, I'm working towards that. I'm starting to get there now. As an example, this is a 3D print I got. I normally do it myself, but both my printers are down, and this is a pretty big job I need to get done. This is only one part of it, and so I need to find someone. I found someone who did the prints. It's like, okay, I don't know this guy, but it's a test, and print turned out fine. It's like, okay, this looks solid. This looks good. So I'll get him to do the rest of the stuff too, and then my client will be happy. I'll be happy, and everyone's winning at that point. So that's what I want to do, start outsourcing stuff. So I'm being forced to do the thing that I wanted to do, but never did. So yeah, so now, which is fine. Life needs to kind of kick me in the ass every now and then, and there it is. So the more I can do like that, the better off it's going to be, and I'll have a little more fun. But yeah, it's getting there. It's all those guys, those millionaires, these stereotypical guys say, I started with nothing. And then when they're telling the story, that's where I am in my story. Started with nothing. Not even printers. Oh, that's funny. Um, but yeah, it's fun. Um, so puddle of cheese, where in the world are you coming from? You don't have to give me specifics, just give me a rough idea. That's cool. It's like everything else, we get there eventually. I wonder how long the delay is here between me saying something and hearing it. On the other guy's YouTube channel, it was 15 to 30 seconds. So you're responding, but I'm still continuing from a comment a question I asked 30 seconds ago, or to a minute. It kind of depends on your internet connection, I suppose. Yeah. Uh-huh. There's wagging. Yeah, catch another stream. That'd be great. Hi, I've been down there a bunch of times. Gone camping down there too, many, many moons ago. But hey, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate the sub. Appreciate you. Have a good one, and yeah, hopefully we'll chat again, man. Still got other people. Got two other people checking out. So by all means, chat away, ask questions. I can talk too much. Cheers, man. So yeah, I've lived around the world a lot. Lived in South Korea for 5 years, doing tech support over there on U.S. bases. That was a big thing, but into some of the data centers now. Mostly the data centers were just in Seoul at that point for those ones. Replacing hard drives, reformatting the servers. Actually, at one point, I still had a couple of hard drives from there. I was like, after a bunch of years, like, I'm not doing anything with this. There may have been some real information on there, but it would all be encrypted. And I don't care about encryption. So I got rid of those hard drives years ago. But it would have been funny if it would have been some really useful information on there. But who knows? I mean, they're not direct read write drives anyway, so it wouldn't make stuff a difference. And I don't really care that much. I just want to go in, do the work, and have some fun. But yeah, South Korea was nice. I've been in England. Oh, for a total of 9 months, I think is. Yeah, I think a total of 9 months. That was fun, but it wasn't all at once. It was over a period of 3 years. And then I visited Thailand, Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore. While I was in South Korea, it was cheap to fly to all those countries because they're so close. 3-4 hour plane hop, and you're in another Asian country. And after about 5 years, I got a little Asianed out. And it's like, okay, it's about time to go home. It's just one of those feelings. There's still a couple places I would like to see. I do have a great uncle buried in Japan from World War II, and he didn't die because he was fighting. That's a whole other story which I can get into. It's comedy, but a whole tragedy of errors that led to that. Um, let's just say that it led to likely the leading cause of most of rifle range safety rules. And I still want to visit China. I mean, regardless of all the political nonsense going on, there's some history there. There's a whole country still want to visit. So I'm less worried about the political side of stuff. And being Canadian, I'm less of a threat, less of a concern to them. Although I'm sure every move I do will be monitored like no tomorrow. So just not bringing this phone to there. I grab some other phone, or who knows, maybe even buy one locally. That would be interesting. Get something from there, and just to see whether I would continue to use it or not once I got back. It'd certainly be a curiosity, and it might be cheap enough, but who knows? That's just whimsical thinking at this point. Well, the clouds are doing their rippling effect. That's when the air is pretty turbulent up there. That tends to break up the clouds too. Fun fact: on an absolutely clear sky, worst day to go flying in small planes. Clouds do not form in heavily turbulent skies. So absolutely clear looks great, great for sun and everything, but horrible for flying because clouds only form in calmer air when the moisture can have a chance to actually meet and congregate. When the sky is clear, that means the air is very, very turbulent. So there's no moisture. There's that and less moisture in the air too, but any moisture that is in there is not, making clouds. Cloudy days, better chance of flying. The air tends to be a little more calmer because it's not as turbulent. But the more you know. You wonder why you're in a plane and it gets rough. Yeah, usually because it's air turbulence. No, not usually. Well, we're hoping it's only air turbulence, right? Ah, what else should we be doing today? No one else shot, but hey, visit, hang out. Just some guy rambling on aimlessly. Well, sometimes there's some aim to it, but not always. Just having a little bit of chill time away from the house because being inside the same four walls is always boring. Oh, yeah, I do need to adjust the wiper blade a little bit. So, since I have to do a little bit of maintenance, let's bring it with me. Yeah, let's go outside. Now I need to adjust the wiper blades because I just replaced these. I need to make this longer this way because it's not better. I want to make sure that it overlaps properly. That's all I'm doing for now. A little bit taller there. Let's see how we doing on this side. Not too bad. That's good enough. Always. I know. I've tried new blades. I've tried cleaning. I just don't think that spring is strong enough to hold this properly against because it always streaks. I don't know what you can see. Yeah, you can kind of see a little streak there. And now this is a new blade, well, relatively new blade, but it always never goes smoothly, which really kind of sucks, man. You know, it needs more strength to hold it down. I might look at doing used to be a spring you can buy that would just kind of clip onto here and give it more downforce. It was a cheap repair as opposed to replacing the whole arm because this is not a spring you could just go out and buy. There may be something that would work to replace that piece there, but It's usually pretty. It's pretty unique to each of the wiper arms. Uh, let's see if that helped any down the road. That wind is a little strong sometimes. Whew. It is a little chilly out there. Coffee's keeping things warm. Here's a little bit of a fun fact. So this always had passenger mirror. I mean that's factory. Of course, you got your regular rearview mirror. Now the passenger driver one never had one, so I added one. And you'll never believe where this came from. You'll never guess in a million years where that came from. Funny thing, I was actually going to almost throw this out. Um, but this is actually an LCD screen. But this is the back of an LCD screen. That's how reflective it is on the back of an LCD screen. This is an LCD screen that failed, and it's from a resin printer, 3D resin printer. So right now it's just kind of it's using the same tape as the letters on the back of the vehicle to the material, so you can see it's gonna flop around there, but it's not gonna come off. So it's held in there pretty good. And oh no, I've covered the caution things. Like I don't worry about that caution stuff. Other small things. I got this sticker. I like this sticker. But problem is it's not sticking, so I need to put some glue on that because I like the sticker. And I like the color because it matches the car. There's a full mount that I added in. It's just a irregular one. Actually, I had to use some tape because this is a plastic piece that goes down, and then you've got a suction cup that sticks to that plastic piece. Well, the foam tape that was on this sucked, so I had to double side tape. Now this is called the one that's being used right now here is just called Alien tape. It's like this gel tape, and it does a pretty good job. I'm not gonna complain. And now it's actually because the whole thing holds up. Not that it's the foam just kind of sucked on it. Aftermarket radio. This is the cheapy used one that I bought. I actually picked it for $50, but it's problematic on its own. Took a while to get some work done, and then a little bit of wiring to work with a factory amp. But because it does have a factory amp, this kind of can overpower the amp, and then the sound gets distorted because it's too much power going from here to the amp to the speakers. They got to play with that a little bit. I can't go too loud on a lot of songs. Not that I need to anymore. But that was that. Right now, there's a bigger problem is that there is ignition whining, hearing the ignition, which really kind of sucks. So I still need to kind of figure out which wire that is. That's the most annoying part of it. But it's the fun of buying, playing with used stuff and cheap stuff. It gets by, got me to do stuff, but even when turned off now, it's picking up the ignition whine, which really is irritating. So I've just got to unplug for now. Don't care that much. It's not that big of a deal. Most of the time I'm doing short drives in here, so by the time I get anywhere, then I don't have time to really play much music on here. So sometimes it's alright, but longer drives would be kind of cool. So that's the only thing I definitely need to do. I've got some longer drives potentially this week coming up, so I need to kind of organize that for the work that I got to do. So that's going to be an important thing to get done today. So make sure that's sorted out. And so yeah, that's probably the next biggest thing I need to get done. Put some stuff around. So other little goofy things. You know what? Let's do this. So I have an air freshener hanging around. if you know who that character is, then you'll get the saying itself. Saying itself is funny, but it's even doubly so with this guy. I won't say his name, but I got this a couple years ago. I thought it was just so funny because it's so topical and amusing. So it no longer has a smell to it. But yeah, it's just it's funny as hell. Just because of the political statement that the air freshener makes. Who would have thought air freshener make a political statement? Go figure. But it was amusing, so I had to get it. And then I hadn't seen it for a while because it was in a box of car stuff that I hadn't gotten into since I got this one. And then when I got into that box, I went, oh yeah, I forgot about that. So hung it back up. But yeah, so now it's just amusing. Some people get it, some people don't. I got a few little stickers. One of the ones I picked up on the weekend I thought was kind of cool. And not sure what I'm going to do with it, but laudanum, laudanum cough syrup. If you can't cough, you can't cough if you're in a coma. Warning, may cause nausea. So yeah, that's when uh, cocaine, that stuff would knock you out. And I believe there was cocaine in that, or it just might have been opium. I'm not 100% sure. Uh, but yeah, I just thought it was funny. I have no idea where to put this yet. You know, but find someplace to put it. But that was funny. It was free, so it was kind of cool. So yeah, I gotta get it. It gets to me, it amuses me. Like my Godzilla cup holders, man, they amuse the crap out of me. So I appreciate those. I've held on to those for years. Finally got into a vehicle. I still couldn't quite. They were designed for bigger vehicles, differently designed ones. So there's Godzilla cup holder, but they're designed for big cups. So I had to print a bottom to add to it so that the cups didn't fall through. But because this piece was so large, I had to design a simple little block to keep this from tilting back. And after I got these in like 1999, so after 25 years, this plastic was getting weak and bending, and they kept falling off. So handy little trick with super glue and baking soda. You put the super glue and baking soda together, and it's like an instant hardens up the super glue. Super glue will dry quickly, but this is like instant and provides like another level of plastic. So this is reinforcement in there. At some point, I might just sand to try to make this smoother and maybe just paint it black so that it doesn't look so ugly. For now, it works. It keeps this from bending because this was still flexing, and then the double-sided foam tape on here wouldn't hold because this is constantly moving. So I got VHB tape there and there. And this one's not moving. That one on the hand is a problem child, and somehow just because you just knock it or have it, it just kind of keeps popping off. It's irritating, but you do what you do. I mean, not much else you can do about these. They are kind of in the way when you open the door and you're getting in and out quickly. Such as life in donuts. But there we are. So, but they were just something I've had and wanted. Now the cup holder in this thing, there are a couple of cup holders, but they are less than convenient. They're more like an afterthought. It's like, oh, we should put some cup holders in here. I think on that because you're kind of useless. Let me just actually make a quick change here. All right. So cup holders are right there. So just some garbage, which I can get rid of now, actually. So one, two cup holders, right? And then you put up something square in there. But they're right below storage rest. Now, this storage rest is something that people want for their haunted elements. And again, it came with mine. Just lifts up and down, open, close. Problem is, storage rest covers. So if I just kind of reach, I'm sitting here and I reach out, I can't reach the cup without doing this back move. I certainly can't reach the one back there. And it's certainly not even necessarily even any easier for the passenger. So I was like, okay, let me see if I can help that. I bought one of these. Which is in there. So to make things a little easier. Now, technically, I have 3 cup holders. But this at least, is adjustable, open and big, and I don't have to. If it's just me, I don't have to reach back so far. If I'm not got something in that one, it's in here. It's nice and convenient. And the other thing that I don't like about this is that my parking brake, same problem. My elbow is taller than the thing, so I can't. So I have to kind of do this. Oh, let me tell you about the seatbelt, which is under there. I have to do this weird twisting forward to get out the seatbelt. Man, it's so this is irritating. So what I gotta do next? Another little project is I'm gonna move the parking brake into a whole new system, and then it's gonna go under there, and it'll be a foot one. The Honda Odyssey does that, so I've seen that mod being done. So then I will replace this with actually a completely different console that will go here. I will sell this because this is still worth some money. People are still paying $200 plus for this thing. Like, all right, so they can get that, and I can get what I want, and everyone's all happy. It doesn't matter. Selling this would pay for the console. The flip side is I don't really want to sell it before because I do like having an armrest here. So once I get the console and figure out how I'm going to wire it up, because I will add some functionality to it. There's no point. Newer consoles will have more plugins and whatnot. I will add that functionality and likely move the heated seat controls and power into that and just run one wire to it and have it run everything. That'd be so much easier at this point. Um, and then there'd be more functionality out of this vehicle, which would be cool. Oh, so there's the heated seat control right now. So, and the other one is actually taped to the side. This is just convenient for me. Putting it down beside, it's bad enough that I can't really reach those. I won't put this down there. This one conveniently. The passenger one, I would have to extend the cabling and have it up here too. So when I do the console conversion, I will probably change how that gets set up and get some good seat covers for this, so that I can bury this pad beneath the seat cover, so it's still going to be there all year round. Just doesn't need to be turned on, obviously. This one I had to extend the wire because the default wire wouldn't quite reach it without hanging right here. That's irritating. This is an extension for the 12-volt socket for the passenger one, which is back here. So that's just kind of, it's less than ideal. It does the job, but it's just not as neat as I would like because it kind of bothers me. But that's what it is when you got a vehicle and you're just trying to make some changes. Siring and watering is easy enough for me to do. And run these like under the rubber flooring. There's the rubber plastic flooring. So it is what it is. You have a little bit of fun with it. And I'm less worried about modifying this because this is not that pristine condition. It's worth a little bit of money, but not that much. If I were to sell this right now, I wouldn't make any money on it. Not that you really do on a lot of vehicles, but I don't think I would get what I would really want, even with it considering losing some value versus all the money I put into it. But not too much. I think it should be okay. But I'd have to have something that's already lined up because without it, then I can't get around to do the job that I need to do. So, yeah. But it's the joys of owning a vehicle. But I get to have a little bit of fun with it. I mean, it is a pretty important and big thing in my world to have a vehicle, to do stuff with it, be with people. There's lots of other people that have fun with it. So a lot more down the states. Yeah, you get 10 times the population, so you have 10 times the number of people and meetings, and even more than 10 times the number of vehicles that were produced down there. I think only about 12 or 15,000. I'm trying to remember that came up to Canada. There's 325 or 323,000 down the states, so that's a little bit more than 10 times. So it's not always a direct comparison for a lot of things, but it's a good guideline. 10 times. Well, what do we have? 43, 430, 43 million. At one point, we had like 33 million, and the States was like 330 million, so 10 times the population. Well, and I need an oil change done. So a lot of maintenance stuff get done next month. I think it'd be nice to get the oil change done on this and see how the oil is doing itself. I mean, I'm not losing any oil, but I have to order the filter and get the oil itself. I can't keep an eye out for when I go say I'll use Mobile One synthetic oil. It's funny. It's one thing. Maybe I should reach out to Mobile One. Mobile One has this two branded types of oil that says Mobile One synthetic, which is confusing. So I'm curious what the at some point I'd like to find out why they've got two different brands. One brand they use their cheap oil, their probably their older style logo, and the newer one they use the newer logo. Never made any sense to me. I don't know if they just keep it separate because of certain retailers, just so they know they got that one. But then why? That's not a cost to have a separate branding and labeling system for those guys. So I think there's a difference. There may be something about it that's why it's a little cheaper, but I'd be curious to see. I try to stick to the regular branded synthetic oil. Maybe I should go back and try and get some real work done. This is kind of nice just to kind of get out just to see. Maybe I have to get the Dremel tool out too, but I don't think I'll come back out here with a Dremel. But I don't really want to make a mess inside my place too with the Dremel tool on the print. So I might just sit outside at my place to do it and leave all the fine dusty particles outside as opposed to inside. And that'll make my life a little easier. Although it's not a really neat tool for sanding miniatures. That would be too small for something this size, but you can get into some fine details. It's almost like I think a toothbrush, but instead of bristles, you just got sandpaper, which might be the cheap way of getting the same tool. I might actually just try that. That would be funny. Just just cut up a little piece of sandpaper and just use a bit of double-sided tape and stick it on there. And just remove it, and replace the tape, replace the thing. That would be kind of amusing. Hmm. So now you got a cheap sand, but it might do the exact job because all it needs to do is just vibrate and sand stuff down to smooth it out. Yeah, and that's essentially what the tool is. It's like it looks like kind of like a toothbrush, an electric toothbrush that just kind of goes along and it vibrates the ends just so it can do the sanding for you. Especially in some of the small things where you just can't get in there with sandpaper, even though it needs to be sanded. But yeah, I knew someone who could have used that for something. But for the mask that I printed for her, it would still take a bunch of time, but it would turn out a little nicer. Not a bad idea. Handy little tool, anyways, if you're kind of into doing your arts and crafts and stuff like that, where they need some sanding of these small areas. But yeah, that actually might be a fairly useful invention to do. You could still just use your original toothbrush, just obviously not the brush itself, but you get a used one and just replace the bristles, especially the ones with little twisty head. You get some good, you get some good sanding action out of that actually, which is kind of interesting. But something to play with down the road. I do uh, I do need to replace mine anyway, so I might just regulate that to the new tool. Although I have a battery operated one, which would make it more portable. So I need to go somewhere and do some sanding. That'd be really kind of handy. So we got here. I got myself, some guy parked way back there, some guy parked over there. I think he went for a hike, and someone else just pulled in. This here, oh yeah, one more car way over that way, and then the back left. And this person can't make up their mind whether they're going to stay because they're kind of driving all over the place. Ah, not sure where they're going to park, I guess. Another guy with a pretty cool beard. I had one guy. You can see there's a tree right behind me. There's like I don't know, maybe 10 feet between me and the tree. Had one guy come in here one night when I was sitting here with a friend, and we're just kind of doing some stuff, checking things out with the car. He pulls up and parks right there. It's like a little hill. It's like, why would you do that? Why would you be, that guy to just kind of intrude in someone else's area? I'm not saying I own it, but like, don't go and park beside someone in a giant parking lot, right? So, wasn't too terribly happy about that, but whatever. I just try to be a little more respectful of people's space. If they're parking here, you don't need to be right beside them. There's no need to be parking like that. And then when I come back here a couple of days later and I see there's a bit of a gouge out of it, like he had a little, I don't know, a Volkswagen Golf or Jetta or something like that, and that's a small hill. When he left, some part of his car caught that and gouged part of the ground. I was like, good on him for being dumb and parking in an area that didn't need to be parked on, and not really and having a vehicle not designed to go over small hills like that. I could have parked on there; it would have been fine for this vehicle, but I got like 7.5 inches of ground clearance. Not a car with like 4. I can hope that karma caused a bit of damage to his bumper when he did something stupid like that. You know, you teach him something for being stupid. Well. Yeah, I think I'll head back, do some, real work that needs to be done, and maybe go down and see mom for supper. I think I had to go down there for something anyways. Oh, thanks for everybody who stopped by. Appreciate that. It was fun chatting, get to know people, some new subscribers and whatnot. Subscribe, check it out. I do this on occasion, trying to do it more often, but we'll see. I mean, the winter's coming, so be a little different. If I'm fortunate enough, I'm going to try to do some more setup in here, nighttime. I want to do some camping in here. I want to test out my heating system. That's basically a radiated heat using a candle. Kind of a cool setup. It'll be an interesting test, to say the least. So that'd be kind of neat. And I still ambiance. How about that? All right. Have a good one, guys. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. See ya.